The rape of Nanking, the forgotten Holocaust of World War II by Iris CHANG. The Nanking massacre was the worst atrocity ever on a group of people in human history. There was mass murder, rape, torture. It was on a scale that cannot be matched anywhere else at any other time in history. On December 13th, 1937, Japanese soldiers invaded the city of Nanking. They had orders to kill and demoralize the Chinese citizens and government. The barbarism that took place, acts so evil and so vile, makes you wonder if humans are merely just animals masquerading as higher life forms. Here is just a few examples of what went on during this horrific ordeal. Japanese soldiers had killing contests. This was a competition to determine who could kill the fastest. Soldiers were split into 4 different teams. In each team, one soldier beheaded prisoners with a sword, while the other picked up heads and tossed them aside in a pile. The Japanese were laughing the entire time, and even taking pictures of the bodies. During one of these games, a pregnant woman fought for her life when one soldier tried to drag her away and rape her. In the end, the soldier killed her, ripping open her belly with his bayonet and jerking out not only her intestines but the squirming fetus. Japanese soldiers would force a group of Chinese captives to dig a grave, a second group to bury the first, and a third group to bury the second, and so forth. The victims were buried alive. The ones who were partially buried to their chests or necks would endure further agony by being chopped to pieces or trampled by horses. Japanese soldiers not only disemboweled, decapitated, and dismembered victims, but also nailed prisoners to wooden boards and ran over them with tanks. They crucified them to trees and electrical posts and carved long strips of flesh from them and used them for bayonet practice. At least 100 men had their eyes gouged out and their noses and ears hacked off before being set on fire. Japanese soldiers would push Chinese people into a pit, spray them with gasoline, and light them on fire. Another form of amusement involved dousing victims with fuel, shooting them, and watching them explode into flame. Japanese soldiers also buried their victims to their waist and watched them get ripped apart by German shepherds. Japanese soldiers would strip a victim naked and direct the dogs to bite the sensitive areas of the body. Japanese soldiers would also saturate their victims in acid, impaled babies, and hung people by their tongues. In another instance, a Japanese soldier tore the heart and liver out of a Chinese victim and ate them. Even genitals were consumed. Penises were sold to Japanese customers who believed that eating them would increase virility. The greatest concentration of rapes in human history occurred here. As many as 80,000 women were raped. Women from all ages and all classes. No place was too sacred for rape. The Japanese attacked women in nunneries, churches, and Bible schools. 17 soldiers raped one woman in succession in a seminary compound. Every day, 24 hours a day, there was not 1 hour when a woman was not being dragged off somewhere and raped. All females were raped. Old age was no concern. Grandmothers, great-grandmothers, endured repeated sexual assaults. When a woman in her 60s protested that she was too old for sex, soldiers rammed a stick up in her instead. Even women in their 80s were raped to death. Little girls were brutally raped too. Girls under 10 were raped and then sliced in half with a sword. In some cases, the Japanese soldiers opened vaginas of preteen girls in order to ravish them more effectively. Even women in advanced stages of pregnancy were assaulted. The Japanese violated many who were about to go into labor, were in labor, or had just given birth a few days earlier. After gang raping them, Japanese soldiers would slash open the bellies of the pregnant women and ripped out their fetuses for amusement. Not all victims were women. Chinese men were often sodomized or forced to perform a variety of repulsive acts in front of laughing Japanese soldiers. Japanese soldiers even forced Chinese men to commit incest. Fathers were forced to rape their daughters, brothers were forced to rape their sisters, sons forced to rape their mothers. Some families openly embraced death rather than participate in their own destruction. An estimated 20,000 to 80,000 Chinese women were raped, and an estimated 377,000 people died. This book details the most horrific atrocity in human history. It's worse than anything I've ever read about. Thank you for watching. Bye.